I'm speaking tonight, but I didn't really think about a speech because I thought I'd get too upset up here, so you have to bear with me. I have my little notes that I wrote on the way here. First, I want to thank you, family, for giving us Dennis. You know, the teachers, what's so weird is that this started from the teachers, was approved by the board, and sanctioned by the community. And the reasons that it was that he was this school. He was a part of this district for many years, and he just brought so much to the buildings. He brought them up to the caliber that they should be, that teachers love teaching here. We all lived in fear of Dennis. No tape. You know, and the paint on the walls, and you know, me being the union president, I'd get some of the complaints, and they'd come to me and they'd say, "What are we going to do about him? He comes in my room, and it's really cold in my room, and he walks in and he says, 'It's not cold in here,' and okay." And he's, you know, and he of course comes in and he's, you know, a big burly guy. He had to walk really far to get there. He's got his coat on. Of course it's not cold in there. So I'd call and I'd say, "Dennis, come and check it out again." So then they got one of those little guns where you can check the heat. And he'd stand outside the room and he'd go, "It's not cold in here." And I'm like, okay. But yet I knew, even though he said that to the teacher, I knew that he would still go back and he would still look into it. And he would still make sure that they were comfortable and that the kids were comfortable. You know, sometimes he attributed some of that just to hormones. Teachers, you know, hormones. But he knew that if the kids were sitting there and they were cold, that he would do something about it. And that's what he was like. You know, he did what was best for the students, for the kids. This room, the kids love coming in here. I wish you could see it, what it's like during the day, because it's constantly bustling. There's kids in the computer lab. There's kids in here. The story area, you do have to go in and check out the acoustics, like he always talked about. We were just in there the other day. We have reading day once a year, and John has taken Dennis's place reading the story that he used to read, Bigfoot Cinderella. And he did it in there, and he was right in the spot at one point. He's like, "Whoa, that's loud." But you just have to see that. He did. He just brought these buildings up to a caliber and just, you know, took care of us. We may have lived in fear, but part of that fear was pure respect for him and everything he brought for the district. And just his memory will live on with this plaque. When I was hired first in this district 21 years ago, I was hired by David Duffy, who the library at the middle school is named after. I didn't have a part in that naming, but I knew the reason that he was named for it was what he did for this district. And I thought to myself, when I wrote the request to have this building, this room named for him, I thought, you know, Dennis did a lot for everyone in this district, and he needs to have a legacy. He needs to have his name somewhere. And I know when the kids come in, the younger ones who don't remember him, they'll come in and, you know, we can tell stories about him. And we can tell about the things that he did and the stories, you know, the Story Center and everything. And even the Madrona building, some of his designs are in that building also, the things that he wanted to have there. So one time when you're here visiting, you'll have to go and see that building too, because there'll be a lot of what he thought of before he retired. And I thank you so much for coming. And everyone, thank you.
When you acted, I thought you were in fear of introducing me.
I never feared you.
You know, a lot of times things happen because good things do the right thing. You talked about Dave Duffy, who I didn't know either, and yet, you know, there it is. Why is it we don't appreciate people when they're alive and with us each and every day? But it takes an event like a passing to say something has to happen. Diane came to me and said, "We have to name this learning center after Dennis." And I said, "I sure hope you do. You know, take it and run." I've told this story over and over and over. And I said, I'm going to a dedications for a great guy, but the person who spearheaded it is the union president. They went, "What?" That's the kind of relationship that Dennis had with lots of people, but because of the relationship that we all had together. So from the bottom of my heart, and I know from the family's heart, this is the lady really responsible. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the district for allowing this particular facility to be named after certainly a great guy. Florida walked in here and all the memories came back, and as we all did. We could tell story after story after story, and I'm just standing up here looking at all of your faces and thinking, every one of you has more than one story about this, but every one of you has a treasured story. Tim, I can't look at those blocks and not think of the arguments that went on in the conference room. And you know, my way of leadership was to say, hire the best you can, get out of their way, and let them do their thing. And then I would overhear some things in the conference room. And Tim, I know your favorite story is the argument about if those were going to be blocks or not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I can't go into that because a lot of what was talked about is not printable. But Dennis said, we got to have that room. And it's got to kind of look this way. And we used to joke about it, and we obviously still joke about it. But that was his pride and joy. And you drew the plans, and then, Jack, you had to build it. And I can remember those things. You know, just driving by a facility like this because it has a pitched roof. I didn't know anything about roofs, but it had a pitched roof to hide all the mechanicals. Why? Because it looks nice. And shouldn't kids go to places that look nice as opposed to square boxes? Those are all the things that Dennis, brought to us. And as we talk tonight and as you look around, I hope you share the stories that you have. We've got golf stories. We've got stories about this building, about every other building in the district. It just, again, continues to magnify. This guy was larger than life when he walked with us. He continues to be larger than life. Why? Because he had such an impact on every one of us. The family is here, and I've asked Celeste to come up here. Been a quick introduction, okay?
Yeah, hello. Thanks everybody for coming out here. We journeyed up here. My mother, of course, from Mississippi. My grandmother, my brother Eugene, Dawn. She's my little cousin. Dave, my other little cousin. My Uncle Don. Aunt Ori. Uncle Tim, Aunt Marla, Susan, that's one of my cousins. Ashley is another one of my cousins. Chris, and his wife Tony. Jamel. And this is Don, he's part of our family. I mean, everybody who came out here tonight is family, it's great. And Andrew and Jamel.
Celeste, thank you. One comment you just made, everybody who came out here is family. That's the way your dad talked about it. I mean, because that's just who everybody is here. So, thank you so much for coming. Florida, I think you should stand. Mom, I think you need to stand. Brother, you need to stand. Eugene, how about come up? And here's the immediate. I could go on and on and on. Those of you who know me know that, but I'm not. When I came to this district, Dennis was one of the first people that I met. Diane, he scared me too. And I think he scared me because his expectations, his standards, were like here. And I didn't know if we could do that. He helped us all get there. One of the people that he first introduced me to, and after I learned about their connection, realized the importance of friendship, is Don Selzer. And Don was our CFO here for a number of years, and I know he'd like to say a few words, so Don, if you would, please.